And to see you is a pleasure. G'day, let's start with our coffee because we wait for a bit of a warm-up. Now, I've come to learn that there is a bit of a warm-up in these videos. So, if you want to get to the meat of what's going on, squeeze forward, I'm guessing 3 to 5 minutes, and we will see what happens. Because I've now noticed that people come in and then they ask, what's going on? Then I realize I've already started the story. But let's see if that happens today. So, that's breakfast. Vanilla latte. Beautiful. So, let's talk about this story. Today is the day that I got what would have looked like revenge, but now is thanks and gratitude to the person who put me on this path in the first place. Now, this doesn't apply to every person, of course. And there are many cases where someone might do something that is just way too difficult to use this technique. But what happened was that about 9 months ago, Boss Briggs, yay! 9 months ago, I went for a job interview, and it was in a completely unrelated field. It was something which I'd done for years, and I went back and I have huge experience in that particular role. Nothing to do with teaching or education or anything. In fact, it was a blue collar job, which it's a long story, but there was a subsidiary of Google that wanted to hire me years ago, and one of their messages came out because they accidentally copied it in, and the manager there, it wasn't a subsidiary of Google, it was a company that was funded by Google, and they specialized in hiring autistic people. And the manager said to the staff, I can't believe this guy is a bus driver. Now, that's nothing against bus drivers. I was a bus driver for a long time, and I loved it, and it was really good, and I had a lot of experience. Anyway, I go back to apply for this job, and the person was not just saying no, but they were very rude, and they were very condescending, judgmental, discriminatory. It was just nasty. And so I left that place 9 months ago feeling humiliated, angered, injustice. It was wrong. I have so many years of experience. I could have done so much for their company, etc., etc. Now, I thought to myself, well, I will write to them and say that the way I was treated, even if they don't want to give me the job, that's fine. But the way I was treated was quite disgusting. Now, at that point in time, what can you do? Now, you have finite energy, Yondu. G'day, Yondu. You have finite energy. So let's say you have 100 points of energy, right? Now you can spend, g'day chaos, 50 points of that energy, 10 points, 1 point, whatever it is, trying to get revenge on this person, or justice, one or the other, right? Or vindication or something like that. But instead, what I said was, you know what? I will look for a job in a completely different field. And it was in education. And of course, I have to start at the low level. And so I'm earning nothing like what I would have earned as a bus driver. But I stayed in it and stayed in it and stayed in it and stayed in it and stayed in it. Over the last 9 months, kept building up, building up, building up. Now, during that 9-month period, I received a letter from this company, the bus company, saying that they deny that I was discriminated, all the stuff that you would expect. So this person who was nasty made up lies, I never did anything, and you expect that from people. So I kept continuing and continuing in education. And today, I received a letter from the university promoting me to one of the highest roles I can get as a PhD candidate, which is a very, very sought after role. And they were pleased to take me on board. Now, today is the day that not only do I get this job, but this job is better than bus driving in every metric for my own life, in terms of pay, hours, how people treat you on the path that I'm on, etc. So today, that person who discriminated against me 9 months ago is actually my friend. That person's my friend because they put me on the path that led to this point. And so instead of needing revenge or justice, I actually need to thank this person. And that is what I call an orthogonalizing of retribution. So in our culture, a lot of movies dictate someone does something wrong to you, you do something wrong back to them. And in this case, someone did something wrong to me. I turned what they did to me into something right. In fact, they didn't do something wrong to me. They did something right to me. because they put me on this new path. So without them, I would not now be a teacher at one of the world's top universities. So I owe that to her, not to me. Right? I just wanted to share that with everyone. And that's something that we don't see in our Western culture a lot. We see a lot of tit for tat. And I'm not saying that this works in every situation, but I can tell you this, that 9 months ago, it felt hopeless. It felt like my life was destroyed. It felt like this person destroyed my life. And in fact, what they did was they set me on the actual correct course of my life. And so for that reason, I can sit with you, make this video, and drink this vanilla latte. And then go, ready? Ah. All right, so everyone, I hope you can remember that in your life. If something like that happens, obviously not something very bad, but if something happens where someone treats you in such a way that you feel like your life is completely over at that point, think that in 9 months from that day, you might be thanking that person if you make the right choice. So the 100 points of energy that I talked about, instead of giving her even 1 point of energy, I took all that 100 points and put it all into a better version of myself. And that's what you can try and do if possible. So this is our short video of the day. I want to say thank you. It's so beautiful to see you all. It's a pleasure. And until next time, remember that what I did for the last 9 months, I just took life one smack at a time. Ciao.